Good afternoon, everyone, once again. Thank you for joining us today. It's nice to see that so many of you were able to make it here today. So our topic of the day is to demonstrate how easily EDIFACT messages can be translated into other messaging standards. Before jumping onto the topic itself, let me introduce ourselves. So here is today with me Timo Tanner. He's an integration architect from EUREDI. And Timo has been with EUREDI for a few years now, and he has been specifically focusing on maritime and transportation logistics and retail integrations. Timo is also the one who has developed the EDIFACT converter solution that we are presenting today. My name is Barbara Babati, and I've been responsible for EUREDI's marketing for almost the last 2 years. I will co-host the webinar together with Timo. Let's start. We're walking you through the agenda of the day first. Today's webinars will last about 20 minutes max, depending on the questions we receive. First of all, I will introduce EUREDI really quickly. Many of you are already familiar with EUREDI. It's really nice to see so many of our customers joining us today. But there are also quite a few people that may not know much about the company. After a short intro, we will move on to talk about EDIFACT really shortly, what it is, how does the message look like, who is using the standard still today, together with downsides of EDIFACT that made us realize that an EDIFACT converter could be a useful tool for anyone dealing with this standard. Right after that, the highlight of the day is the demo. Timo will walk you through the solution he has developed, showing you how simple it is to process EDIFACT messages and change the format back and forth. Just before finishing our webinar, I will outline the benefits of the solution and explain how an iPaaS, an integration platform, fits into the picture. At the end, we will have time for some questions, so please insert them to the comment box on the right side, and Timo and I will address them at the very end. In case you don't have any questions today, you can always reach out to us. Feel free to shoot a message to Timo with more technical questions to timo@euredi.com. And with any other inquiries, you can reach me at barbara@euredi.com. Now let's move on. As I promised, a really short intro about EUREDI. So who are we? We provide a cloud-based integration platform, and for the last few years, we have been specifically focusing on the global supply chain management and logistics domain. We certainly serve other industries too, such as retail, e-commerce, or SaaS businesses. We provide our customers with managed services for business-to-business integrations to enable the flow of the data in real time while also translating the message formats if necessary. As per request, we also provide data integrity solutions by validating the data and enriching it. For more information, it's good to go and check out our website and read our informative blogs, or just schedule a quick call anytime. Let's now continue with the EDIFACT. It was developed in 1990 by the United Nations with the intention of replacing paper documents and processes to facilitate the flow of information needed for international movement of goods. So also, it's almost a 30 years old standard. There hasn't been another format or standard that has been widely adopted, such as EDIFACT. Some firms, however, moved on to use formats such as JSON or XML that are more easy to deal with. EDIFACT includes a set of syntax rules, an interactive exchange protocol, and standard messages which allow multi-country and multi-industry exchange. It may not sound that complicated, but if you look at our next slide and at this EDIFACT message example, you can see how complicated it is actually. It's not really human readable, it's very complex, and most developers don't really like to deal with it. So that's exactly the reason why we wanted to make it more simple to work with EDIFACT messages. With the converter, it's possible to translate the format, but in something that's more easy to handle, but we will talk about it like in a minute. But for now, let's look at that who is still using EDIFACT today when there are like better formats available. Across global businesses, EDIFACT is still widely used. Around 90% of businesses still use it for business-to-business communications. Some examples are maritime logistics, warehousing, transportation logistics, pharmaceuticals, car manufacturers, or retail. Changing how the firms operate doesn't really happen overnight, and the complexity of replacing EDIFACT would be a serious challenge. So instead of replacing it, it can be converted into another format, so it's easier to communicate with the business networks such as customers, suppliers, manufacturers, or for example, third-party logistics providers. Looking at the business drivers behind the solution, we can clearly identify some main challenges. First of all, a broad spectrum of technology used at enterprises and different systems of technology used at businesses, and the different systems are utilizing a range of different communication protocols like SFTP, FTP, HTTP, or web services, and so on. The main challenge is that some technologies are legacy ones built decades ago and located on-premise, and these need to be able to communicate, for example, with modern cloud-based applications. We have previously mentioned that EDIFACT is difficult to deal with. It is also error-prone, so it requires quite some time to make adjustments. In case of EDIFACT, maintaining the data integrity is also a challenge. Once it's converted, validation and enrichment get lots easier, and in that case, it's faster to transmit these messages, so that will clearly save you time, and in the end also costs. So consequently, EDIFACT impacts efficiency and profitability negatively and complicates the whole EDI process. So now it's time for showing the demo. Timo will show you a few examples of converting EDIFACT messages to other formats. In the meanwhile, if you have anything to ask, please remember to put it down in the comment box. And Timo, the stage is yours. I will let you share your screen with us.
Okay. Thank you, Barbie. Is this... Oh, okay. Let's share the screen. So thank you, Barbie. I will jump directly to the Your EDI platform. So my demo today will revolve around an EDIFACT booking message. It's also known as IFTMBF. Booking message is commonly used in B2B scenarios to book container transport services between companies. And here in my notepad, I have a small example of a booking message. And as you can see, it's pretty much gibberish for human eye. Hard to understand and hard to manipulate and translate. Luckily, in your EDI platform, we have good built-in components that can be used to transform EDIFACT messages to other formats. So let's jump directly to my first demo here. The first one is converting EDIFACT to XML. Here you can see a list of our demo processes, and I will just jump directly to EDIFACT to XML here. This is the Your EDI process designer canvas. And as you can see, this is really easy to use, and everything works here inside the web browser, and everything works in drag and drop fashion. I can just drag and drop new logic into the designer canvas. Okay, and this is a really simple process. As I said, this will be a short demo since Your EDI can handle EDIFACT conversions really super easily. My process only contains 2 steps. The first one takes the EDIFACT message, identifies the version and the message type, and converts it to XML. The second one will return the message to the client. So only 2 steps in the process. And this is also super easy to test. Only thing I need to do is to press start here in the browser. I can edit the input message here in the left side. Here is the EDIFACT message. All I have to do is press play here. And now it's been converted to XML format. And the format you see here, this was developed by your EDI, but it corresponds one-to-one to United Nations EDIFACT standard. So it's been kind of like developed based on that. And if you're familiar with EDIFACT, here you see familiar stuff also on the right-hand side. You see the IFTMBF message type, and then you see UNB, UNH, all the segments, and all the underlying message, complex message types. The neat thing about this is that this is correctly structured according to the UN standard, and every element is named in a manner where human can understand it, what it means. So it's really intuitive. And when we design our processes, the process I just showed you is automatically published as an HTTP API. So it's super easy to publish your own APIs to the outside world. And now I've shown you that converting EDIFACT to XML, it's a matter of minutes basically to get the process running. Now I'm going to show you that we can also do back and forth conversions. We can take the XML that I just converted and convert it back to EDIFACT. Here is XML to EDIFACT process for that purpose. And as you can see, it's also a super simple process, only 2 steps. The first step converts the XML to EDIFACT, and the second step returns the value. I'll just press start here and demonstrate how it works. Now I have the XML document that I produced in the last demo. I will just press start, and the response will be the original EDIFACT document. Really simple. Now, it's usually not enough just to translate the message to some internal XML document format. So you usually probably want to translate the document. So I have made a short demo here that demonstrates how to do XSL transformation for that internal document. It contains all the same logic as the previous process, but here is another step. There is the XSLT step. And I have defined XSLT mapping here that does the mapping to an internal format. And at the end, it just returns the value. So I will just press play here again. I will input the EDIFACT document, press start, and now it has converted it first to our internal format and translated it to in-house booking message format on the right side. Really simple. And in addition to doing back and forth conversions from XML to EDIFACT and vice versa, we can also convert it to JSON. So here is one process that takes the same message and returns it in JSON format. It does all the same things, but in addition, I have just dragged and dropped here XML to JSON transformation. I will press play. And on the right-hand side, you can see the JSON. Basically, this is all it takes. As you can see, our platform is really easy to use and switch. And I have only demonstrated you kind of like a one narrow functionality of our platform. Basically, our iPaaS platform is suitable for all your integration scenarios. And that's about all I can show you about this, because this is so easy.
All right. Thank you, Timo. Thank you for the demonstration. I will show you my screen. Yeah, now you can see it, hopefully. And we will just move on. So a couple of words still before we would be wrapping up today's session. So what are the benefits of the solution? It simplifies EDIFACT projects. Like you could see, it's really simple. It's super easy to change the format of EDIFACT when you are using this solution within your integrations. So all you have to do is mainly just like implement mappings with commonly available technologies such as an XSLT. When the conversion of XML is done, it's easier to transform the message to whatever format you prefer. Let it be JSON, CEFACT, UBL, GC1XML, X12, or any in-house format. You will be able to manage different versions of the same messages and harmonize them into a single version to be used in your own information systems, such as ERPs, transport management, order handling, or invoicing systems. By converting EDIFACT automatically, you will be able to shorten onboarding times or new trading partners to a matter of days instead of weeks or months. And ultimately, you will be able to streamline your EDI processes and cut overhead costs. So here is the last slide before we will be continuing with your questions. So how does iPass fit to the picture? As Tim already mentioned, you can do all your integrations with our iPass. And it has been an interesting misconception that because of your EDI's name, many would think that our platform is only suitable for EDI and EDIFACT, which is true. It's really ideal for that, but an integration platform can do so much more. For example, it's the perfect tool for challenging large-scale, very complex business-to-business integration scenarios. We also have templates on our iPass that can be used for developing new solutions really fast. What's really cool about iPass, in my opinion, is that you can develop hybrid integrations on top of it, connecting on-premise legacy architectures that many companies are using today with cloud-based applications that are getting more and more common. It can also connect with technologies that are protected by a firewall. So we get often questions whether we can connect with systems that are based, for example, in China or Hong Kong, and that shouldn't be a problem. Connectivity solutions built on top of an iPass facilitate the flow of information across parties, regardless what message formats, standards, and protocols they use. iPass also helps to ensure the integrity of the data. We already mentioned it today a couple of times. It's really important that you can validate the data during the information transfer. So you are kind of like speeding up your processes. You don't have to do that manually. And if we detect some errors in the data, we can just automatically forward it back for enrichment. And it can save you up to 80% of the time that you would spend on validating and enriching the data normally. It is also important to highlight, in my opinion, how fast you can develop and deploy solutions on top of iPass. It can be ready just in a matter of days, or like in some cases, we have been developing integrations in under 2 weeks that previously would have lasted for months. So I think that's really something cool to emphasize about our platform. But right now, I would like to thank you for your attention, and we are happy to answer some questions. Let's see what we have. Yeah, so one of the first questions is, what's the price? I can answer that. So that really depends on how you are going to use this solution and what are the transaction numbers. So normally it's really cool to use it as part of some other integration solution, which has a one-time setup fee. But this would be probably based on transaction fees. So actually, the more transactions you are processing through this, the less you are going to pay, or the more favorable the pricing is for you. I hope that answered it. Let's see the next question. I think this is a question for Timo. What is the accuracy of the solution?
The accuracy is 100% to get the messages right.
Yeah, so for those who wouldn't understand what the question means, it means that how it's matching, how the EDIFACT message is matching the JSON or the XML that we are converting to. So like Timo showed it's always matching one-to-one.
Yeah.
Let's see the next question. Here is, can you customize the solution?
Yes, if you have if you have modified the official EDIFACT messages, then you can have your own code lists, for example. You can use custom message formats if you like.
Yeah, someone has asked that, can you test this solution in the test environment?
Yes, we have test environment we provide it to all our customers. Okay. There's separate production and test environments.
Can this solution be part of a business-to-business connections?
Yes, it's optimal for that purpose.
Do you have the same converter for an NC X12?
That's under development and coming really soon.
Okay, let's see a few more. Can it be translated to any XML format?
Yes. Once we have made the translation, it's up to the user whether he wants to translate it to his in-house format or whatever format he wants to use. Basically, just XSLT mapping, one XSLT mapping is all it takes.
Okay, thank you. And let's see one more. Has it been saving the deployment time of integration solutions? And if so, then by how much in terms of percentage?
Well, yeah, I would say that at least 80%. It cuts at least 80% of the time and work in a traditional EDIFACT project.
All right, thank you very much. And thank you for being here today. Thank you for your time. If you would like to know more or you feel like you would like to see the demo again, you can always feel free to reach out to us. I can answer your questions or Timo can answer your questions. Reach out to us at timo@youredi.com or barbara@youredi.com and we will get in touch with you. Thank you and have a great afternoon. Bye.